The Morale Project!
Hello, and welcome back to the Morale Project podcast. I'm your host, Senior Master Sergeant Cynthia Limoges, Human Resource Advisor for the Rhode Island Air National Guard. And welcome to today's conversation. So we are here celebrating June, which is Pride, in the Air Force or Rhode Island Air National Guard. And I have two amazing young people here with us, and I say young because I'm old, right? And I'd like to start off by introducing our special guest. And I just want to say thank you so much, first and foremost, for being here and sharing your story. You know, I always talk about how our Air Force is, when we talk about diversity and inclusivity and morale, I don't just talk about culture, I talk about absolutely everything that you bring to the table. A little bit about what we talked about before we even started, right? Yeah. So first I have Staff Sgt. Courtney Robinson. Hello, Courtney Robinson.
Hi.
And then I have Senior Airman William Garcia.
Hey, what's up?
So I want to hear a little bit about you first. So who wants to go first? They're both pointing at each other.
I'll go first.
All right. So we have Senior Airman Garcia. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your upbringing.
So I come from a Dominican background, family, first generation. So family's very religious. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many siblings do you have?
I have a sister. She's older than me. I actually have a beautiful little niece that just came last year. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And are you were you born in Rhode Island?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York, raised in Rhode Island.
Okay, so I can say Brooklyn, in the house, right?
Right.
Yeah. Did you go to high school here in Rhode Island?
Yes.
Yeah.
I came.
And so when did you come over to the Air Force?
I was supposed to come right out of high school because my cousin was very persuading me to come in, and she joined right after. And I was a little hesitant about it because I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. But a couple years go by, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I've been here for 3 years, and it's been pretty awesome, honestly. It's been great.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you've been in for how many years now?
3 years since I enlisted, yes.
3 years. And what do you do in the Air Force?
I'm in services.
In services.
Yes.
And so what does services do?
Services, we do a little bit of a lot. But what I mainly do is I am in the kitchen serving, prepping, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Services does a lot.
Yeah,
we know
we
this,
do,
right?
Fitness and then food.
So you're in charge of our new beautiful gym that we have here at Quonset, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So you've been in for 3 years. Tell us a little bit about you. I mentioned to you that I identify as he, she, or her. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about yourself, because you were born in Brooklyn,
I was born in
but
Brooklyn.
You're from Rhode Island.
I'm a little upset because I like big cities, and I actually have a lot of friends in New York, so I always go back. But I was raised in Rhode Island. Going to school, it was a little weird because I feel like I was told that I was gay before I even knew that I was gay. And I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, tell us a little bit about that.
People would always, little kids are always bullying or whatever you want to call it, but I would always be like, oh, you talk like a girl, you act like a girl and stuff like that. But I never really noticed it. I was just being myself, which was a little weird to me because I'm just like, what does that even mean to me?
Right.
I was trying to still figure myself out, and then you're over here telling me that I'm gay or that I'm acting a certain way, but I'm just being myself. So that to me was a little strange. But that was my middle school experience. And then when I went to high school was when I was fully aware of who I was as a person. I'm like, yeah, I do identify as gay. You know what I mean? So that's when I came out. I came out in high school.
So when you came out, who was the first person you shared that with?
So like I said, people already had suspicions about me being gay. So it wasn't too hard for me to come out because people were like, yeah, we know. But I mean, like for me to actually come out was really big because I was like, especially to my parents. I mean, my mom didn't take it very well at all. And we even had not a falling out, but our relationship did change when she found out that I was gay. And that was very hard for me because I am a little mama's boy. So with her not fully accepting it right there and then, it did make me feel some type of way. Because I'm like, what am I doing? Or why is this a problem? You know? So right there, I didn't understand it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really sorry you had to experience that. How is your relationship now with Mom?
She's great. I mean, over the years, she has came around and she's been very welcoming to all my friends and my partner and stuff like that. So it's been very great for her to even, because I know some parents would not accept it, but for her to even accept the fact that her son is gay, it was really, really great.
So thank you for sharing your experiences. You know, what do you feel like, since you've been here in our unit or in the Air Force, that you've experienced anything challenging?
No, I mean, like I said before, coming, I was a little hesitant about it because I just didn't know how accepting people were. Especially, I just not knowing anything, you know, I just came here, I didn't even know how people's personalities and stuff, so it was just very, very reserved. But people in my unit have been very welcoming. I mean, I'm not hiding who I am, and I've never had a problem here. Everybody, like I said, everyone has been very welcoming, so it's been a really good feeling.
I know the message that I preach ad nauseum, and you'll hear me say it all the time, is, you know, when I talk about diversity and inclusion, I talk based on a human level, like starting off as, you know, I don't care what you look like, I don't care who you are, we should all be treating each other with dignity and respect. Whether we agree or disagree with our belief systems, like, we should be treating each other with respect, right? So it always makes me feel good to hear that we're embracing you. We should.
Yeah.
You know, you're part of our family.
Right.
So
something that I do want to like not point out, but I can see that the Air Force is trying, and the reason why I'm saying that is because today I had a sapper. What was that?
our training, yeah.
And it was really awesome to see. There was a scenario where they talked about someone being gay or someone being transsexual, whatever the scenario was. But it was great to see that, like, in a room full of people, and then this is being on the slide, and everybody seemed comfortable, you know. So it was a good thing that we're being recognized.
That's good. And we're trying. I know our Air Force is trying, our military is trying to move in the right direction.
Right.
You know, sometimes we have that old mindset for all of us old timers that have been in for a long time. Change is hard for us.
Yeah.
You know, change is hard, but we're an ever-changing military. And I always say to my senior colleagues that joined when I joined, or even before, jump on the roller coaster, hang on tight, and be willing to move with the change. Otherwise, you're going to stay behind, right? And so our goal is to be there to embrace and to encourage and to mentor and empower everyone equally and respectfully, right?
Yeah.
So thank you. And so what would you suggest for anyone out there that is serving now in the service, or even in the community that may hear our message today, to feel comfortable to come out and talk about and be who they are, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I just feel like just be your authentic self. People are going to like you for who you are, and there's people that are going to not like you, even if you are straight or gay or whatever you identify as. There's people that are going to find something wrong, but you're not wrong being you.
Right.
You should always be you and be comfortable in who you are.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. You know, and this, we talk about, you know, embracing everyone. Let's talk about Staff Sergeant Courtney Robinson, sharing your experiences, your story. Let's hear it. Let's hear about, you know, all the deets, as we say, right? Where were you born?
So I was born in Attleboro, Massachusetts. Wasn't raised there. My mom just happened to be there at the time when she gave birth. So I was raised in Warwick, well, West Warwick, and then moved to Warwick. So half and half.
How many siblings do you have?
I have an older brother and a younger sister, and I also have a niece from my older brother. Cute. She's almost 4, so very exciting.
Yeah. I didn't even ask either. I'll come back to you, Airman Garcia, but what do you do outside of here?
So I actually am on base full-time because
Oh, you are.
I am full-time honor guard. So I do the funerals around, so we cover Southern Mass, Eastern Connecticut, and all of Rhode Island. And so, yeah, that's what I do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so I know we had talked a little bit about before we went live, and so you were at FSS before as well.
Yes.
And we had met because you had done my D card years and years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's so good. I'm proud of you for moving to a different section too and exploring your options, right? Tell us a little bit about your military experiences.
My military experiences, I wouldn't say anything bad. I think I'm very grateful for the military. I think it's gotten me to where I am. I'm thankful to be in the honor guard. I'm thankful for my experiences in FSS. That taught me a lot. I met people that I will never forget. Even going over to CE now, water and fuels, it's always been so welcoming, and that's kind of surprised me on a level because you never know what to expect.
Right,
and so there are people that are welcoming, but then there are people that are over welcoming. Like they make you so comfortable right off bat. And in both situations, I've had that same experience, which I'm so grateful for, because without that, I have anxiety, I get like shy. And so just having those people, it's amazing because you don't always get that. And I know a lot of people that don't always have that experience, and it's sad to hear, and it's unfortunate, but I was fortunate in that aspect.
Yeah, that's always good to hear that you have that embracing experience, with the unit. And in recognition of June being Pride Month, right? Tell us a little bit about your life and your pronouns.
So my pronouns are she, her. I knew 3 years prior to coming out. I was dating someone at the time for 3 years. It was a secret because obviously we both didn't know how other people would feel, and it was just in that time frame of like it still was kind of a touchy subject. But I came out because when I went to basic training, I had a girlfriend, and my mom knew because when she had come to visit me, the first person I wanted to call obviously was my girlfriend. My mom, it clicked to her then. So when
Moms know.
So when I came home from basic training, I'll never forget it. I'm sitting in the recliner in my living room. My mom's doing her hair in the bathroom, and she comes over and goes, "I need to ask you a question." I said, "Okay." She goes, "Don't take offense." I said, "Okay." She goes, "Are you dating so-and-so?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And I was like, "And you can either accept that or you don't. We can talk about it." I said, "But I am who I am, and that's it. It's been going on for 3 years."
Yeah.
And she said, "No." She was like, "I love her." She was like, "I knew." She was like, "You don't just get out of basic and call one person right away." She was like, "You don't just have sleepovers all the time,"
Yeah.
So it was actually kind of funny. And she just, my dad was actually adamant on the fact that I was dating this boy, and she just wanted to be right, I think. But she was very accepting, so.
That's good. And I love your response. When mom was asking for that validation, immediately Courtney's like, "If you want to talk about it, this is what we're going to talk about. This is A, B, and C, right?"
Yeah.
So if mom was ready to throw those questions out, you're ready to answer them.
I think I was in my head about it so much for that 3 years that I was just ready. I set my life up. I joined the military to go to school, and I set myself up to be dependent and not need anyone due to the fact of I knew this could be a problem. In my head, I was like, if someone's not going to accept me, I'm not going to need you. So at the end of the day, I was trying to become more comfortable with myself, and I didn't need anyone who wasn't going to accept me, whether that be family or friends. I know it's a little harsh to say, but sometimes I wouldn't want to be around someone that doesn't like who I am, and that doesn't define me as a person when it comes down to it.
Good for you. Look at that. You sound like a very healthy mindset. And so your school experiences, how were those? Did you know you were gay at the time, or?
In middle school, I didn't. In high school, up until junior year, I did not. And then I always kind of thought women were attractive, but I also thought men were attractive. So it was kind of just, but I'm more of a personality person. So my junior year, I had met someone, and we were just really close friends. We ended up getting closer, it escalated, and I was just still standoffish by it because I was confused. I didn't know what I was doing. So she was actually a little bit younger than me, and one day she had grabbed my hand in the hallway, and I've never yanked my hand away from someone so fast. Because at that point, I'm scared of who's going to know I didn't know what I was doing. So in the rut of all that, unfortunately, I did actually hurt some people because I didn't know what I was doing. And then when I was sure, the girl that I was sure about wasn't sure, and at the time I was so angry and I was so upset, and I just held this resentment. But then I sat back and I went through the same thing. You can't resent anyone for not being sure about how they feel, and so it just created a toxic cycle. But at the end of the day, you have to sit back and think. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to come to terms with, and if there's people that were in her life that didn't accept it completely, so that's a big factor. When people don't accept it, you almost can't accept yourself, which is sad.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of you both I feel like our new generations are more empowered. Like, I feel like when I was younger, coming out was a little different, for our youth, when they were interested in coming out. Like, it was harder for us to say something or harder for them to say something. You shared a story about someone in the Air Force that you had met along the way, right? Yep. Talk a little bit about that person, how they influenced you. So
I had met someone in tech school. We were friends. He was actually, know how they have the ropes? He was actually a teal rope. So he was a sapper advocate, which is amazing. But we just got along, and I always kind of looked up to him. He always had himself he was very squared away, very professional, and he was in finance, but he ended up going to bigger Air Force honor guard. So he now does like the drill teams and such like that. But he's gay, and at first he wasn't very big about it, but then as we have each other on Facebook, I started seeing all these posts as the years go by, and he's completely out there with it. When Pride Month hits, he is the first one to get up and say something, post something. And he always does it in such a professional manner. Being on the big Air Force honor guard team, you obviously have to carry yourself with that professionalism, and he does it to a T. So I came across this post the other day, and it was more or less, it was a big rant. It was a rant about Pride Month, and you don't have to accept us or such like that. But he went on and on about how there's still these people, because what happened is the big Air Force page posted the Pride picture with the girl with the half rainbow arm, and everyone was commenting. A lot of people don't accept it still. And he kind of just wanted to touch on that. And he said, at the end of it, what really stuck with me is he said, we're here, we're going to be here, we're not going anywhere, we'll be here forever. Yeah. And that really, I just look up to him, because he is so confident in who he is. He is so confident in the person that he is, aside from, that doesn't define him. Like I said, it doesn't define you as a person. He's so set, and he knows he's a good person. He knows that he does what he needs to do. He's empathetic. He's good-hearted. And he said, he's just one of those that you admire, because he's him at the end of the day, and he's going to continue to be him whether you like him or not.
And being authentic.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Being authentic in who you are. What message would you have for other members in the Air Force, the military, or even here within our family, the Rhode Island Air National Guard or Rhode Island National Guard, for those that are struggling right now or don't have the support? Because I feel like you're both very fortunate. I've met a lot of people that are not very fortunate. They don't have that support system that leads to difficult times, leads to poverty or homelessness, right? So what message would you have to anyone here? Yeah.
I say, come find me. I'll support you. If no one else does, I will.
Yeah.
But I would say push. Keep pushing, drive, be you, get to where you need to be. If it's going to be like you said, like a poverty or some situation like that, there's always going to be someone who supports. You just kind of have to you have to be accepting of yourself enough to kind of, I feel like nowadays more people accept it than don't. I like to think that, at least. So I think there's places on base that you can even get help. You talk to any of the chaplains, such like that. Like, they're gonna, if no one else accepts you, that they're gonna be there with open arms. Someone can support you, and I think that your friends, I think you just need to put yourself out there. That's basically what it comes down to, and it's so hard to do that, and it's so nerve-wracking, and I understand because we've all been there, but at the end of the day, if you keep yourself in this shell, you're downplaying yourself, and I think you owe it to yourself to be you.
And allow we deserve it.
You do deserve it.
To, be authentic, to allow yourself to be authentic in who you are.
Of course. And at the end of the day, I think that once you put yourself out there, you'll find that a lot more people support you than you think that they do.
I agree with that. That's a very powerful statement. Thank you so much for sharing. Garcia, I wanted to come back to you because I know we talked a lot about like your military and your your upbringing rather. What do you do outside of here?
So I'm actually full-time school, but I'm getting a degree in business management, and part-time I move furniture. So that's what I'm doing right now. You do what you need to do, right? Until you're. I'm a big guy, and I lift heavy stuff all the time, So I'm the perfect guy for the job.
That's awesome. And you're getting your education.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That's important. I always say this again ad nauseum for anyone who is activated under my leadership on our 502F orders. It is your responsibility to keep yourselves current and marketable, right? So you need to do whatever you need to do to build that skill set. And as senior leaders, it's our responsibility to make sure that we create those opportunities for you. So I just want to say thank you both for taking the time to share your stories, your experiences. Again, our Air Force is made up, or our military is made up of all of our experiences that we bring to the table, from our upbringing through our life. And, even as you start to get older and you decide to stay in the service and you become leaders, you'll remember those conversations that you've had with leaders that impacted your life, So I just want to say thank you for helping me celebrate with all of our colleagues in the Rhode Island Air National Guard and military Pride Month. So thank you. Do you have any last words you want to say? Share?
Be yourself.
Be yourself. Yeah.
And love yourself. Too.
And love yourself. Yeah. Amen. Well, thank you so much for listening, for tuning in, and I look forward to having our next podcast very shortly here, and tune in then.
The Morale Project.